Hoff-Fanaian.
And I'm Daryoush, working as broker with Home Realty.
Today we want to talk about how to make an offer on a property. So you went out with your realtor, you found your mortgage, you've been pre-approved, and you want to now make an offer on this beautiful home that you found. And what is it that you have to do now?
Okay, what is involved in an offer? With the help of your realtor, you're going to write a contract. In the contract, you're going to put the asking price or the price that you want to offer. Obviously, always you can negotiate, talk to your realtor. And something very important, the escrow deposit. That is a deposit that you put to show how serious you are with your purchasing. So I usually recommend depending on the price of the house, over $1,000. That money to make sure that you don't back up.
It's so the seller knows that you're serious about this offer.
That's right. And beside that, your realtor would explain you the dates. The dates for inspection. We would talk about more about this. The date for the appraiser and the date for the closing. Okay. Mm-hmm. So your realtor prepare the contract, you look at it, and these are the factors you need to check. How much escrow deposit, what is going to be in the house,
what items will
are
stay,
included
like
in the house.
Refrigerator and stove usually are included.
That's right.
Pretty much everything that's stuck to the wall is included, like if there's a big, beautiful bookcase, and it's really stuck to the wall, it would be included.
That's right.
Unless the owner has said that it does not convey.
Okay.
Sometimes they take them. Chandeliers, sometimes they could say it does not convey. But you can also ask for it in your contract. That's where you would put what you want in the house that you also saw that was kind of part of the house.
Yeah, and if your offer was lower than the asking price, obviously the seller might accept or might counter offer, what we call it. For example, if the house is $250 and you offer $230,000 and the seller says no, $230 is too low, I want $240. So you have a little back and forth until you realize, you negotiate with the seller how much money you want to pay. So after everything is signed, the date starts with the last person to sign the contract. So let's say you start the contract, usually between the accepted contract until the closing, which is the day that they give you the keys, lasts for 6 weeks, depending on the house, depending on your mortgage, that is negotiable with your seller or we can talk with your realtor. So everybody sign, you celebrate, oh, I got the contract. Now what I'm going to do?
Now comes the hard work.
So between the contract and the closing, you're going to have two kinds of inspection, physical inspection and termite inspection. Both of them are very important. And who's going to pay for those?
The buyer.
The buyer. So you need to pay for those. Those would be between $400 and $500. And you would ask, oh, can I pay it at the closing? Nowadays it's hard to pay at the closing.
Before it used to be okay, but now they don't accept it.
That's right. Because if something happened, you back out, the inspector, they don't want to lose their money.
Another cost that comes up too is the appraisal, because for your mortgage to be approved, the house needs to be appraised. The appraiser is chosen by your mortgage broker. And you can't choose them. It has to be the mortgage broker because there would be some bias involved. But you have to pay for that. Sometimes, not always, not usual, sometimes it is sent to closing day. So that could be included in the final costs. But really, ordinarily now, it's being paid up front. That could go for another $400. So you may have to also pay for that appraisal before closing date.
So have ready, like $1,000 cash handy for cover all those costs. Obviously, the timing is the inspections are first. The home inspection, the termite inspection, to make sure that you like the house. And every house has some issues, but minor issue, no problem. You can fix it or you can negotiate with the seller. Obviously, you want to make sure that there is major problem.
Exactly. Like, what would I, as a buyer, not decide to get out of the contract? Because that's what the inspection is for. You have the possibility of getting out of that contract. This offer is a contract between you and the seller. So if I do an inspection, I can pull out of it. What would, I really haven't had that happen to me with any client, any buyer, but what would be something major?
But usually, the seller, obviously, when they sell you the home, they make sure that there is no any major problem. Mm-hmm. But anyway, if there is a problem with the roof,
a big
problem with the roof and leaking, you can ask the seller to fix it, Mm-hmm. And that's another kind of negotiation. The seller would say, okay, I pay half, or I pay 90%, or I fix it. That's something that the realtor would help you.
To put some buyers at ease, if a nail is not, like a shingle doesn't have a nail in it, that's not major.
No problem.
That may not even give you leaks. So that's not really major. Major is like a big hole in the roof or a big leak that you can see the leak coming through the ceiling kind of thing. Those are major repairs.
Or residual
medium
of termite,
to major. Yeah.
Those are. So after doing the inspection, you sit down with your realtor and you go through the inspection. It's very good if you can be present at the inspection
time.
Very
good idea.
So
yes.
The inspector can show you, this is a problem, this is a problem. Some problem you can fix it, because I bought a new home and there was a lot of minor issues that I had to fix it. There was some place missing caulk, some place missing screw. That's minor stuff.
I remember within a month in a new home, the dishwasher had to be changed. Something like a month or two. So
obviously,
things like that do happen.
Yeah. Obviously, those are a little higher than minor, but during the inspection you would find out, if there any appliances are not working and you ask for replacement. Okay, after the inspection is done and you have accepted, now you go with your mortgage broker. You say, okay, we are done. What we need to do? That start the process of application. From now then to the closing is between you, your realtor, and the mortgage broker, because mortgage broker is going to ask you a bunch of papers, bunch of documents, and you have to be ready to give to the mortgage broker. As fast as you give him the documents, better for you to close it on time.
Yeah, if he asks you for a tax return, if he asks you for W-2s, or any type of documentation, they're asking for many different things, credit cards, maybe sometimes your bank account, like the last 2 months, they want to see what was on your bank account. When they ask you for these things, if you take 2 to 3 days to respond and give it to them, it's going to delay closing a lot. So try to be prompt.
Yeah.
If you get it in the evening, try in the morning to furnish that information. Right. Yes.
And sometimes always you're going to have some sort of communication issues with your mortgage broker. For example, mortgage broker might tell you, everything is done, you are approved, you're good to go. That doesn't mean you don't need more paperwork, you don't need more document, because those package, they pass it to the, what do you call it, audit?
Underwriters.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they review it and they say, okay, we approve it under this condition. He has to give me the last 2 pay stub, he has to give me this, he has to give me that. Just be patient and work with them, because there are a lot of money involved and they want to make sure that they will be able to recuperate. So when is ready to close, usually 3 days before the closing, the mortgage broker or the company send you what we call it closing package. The most important of the closing package is the closing statement, where it is stated the price of the house, the escrow deposit you already paid, and how much is all the expenses itemized, and how much money you are going to have to take to the closing.
Mm-hmm. For our next exchange, and we will furnish that for you very soon, we want to talk about the seller's disclosure. This you should read very in depth before you do any inspections, before you put an offer, before you write that contract. You should read the seller's disclosures, and we will talk about that in detail so that you know what to look for in those documents. It's very important.
You ask your realtor. Usually the realtor, they ask the seller agent to send the seller disclosure. So the seller has disclosed everything that they know about the property. So ahead of time, you know what is you're gonna get.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, we hope Rose Home Realty is in Central Florida, let's say the Orlando area, and we hope this has been helpful for you. No matter if you're in Central Florida. Probably in all of Florida, this is where we do real estate. Yeah. But in other states, a lot of these buying and selling things are very similar. We hope to see you soon.